UK services, Lavazzi and book1.co.uk present the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast, episode 575, I think. I'm Adam, and Alon Z, because I can't be asked with quotes, and here's Debbie Melrose. Yes, Debbie Melrose, everybody! Yes, Debbie Melrose.
I'm back. Equidistant, so grown up.
Oh, Mary Lang.
Next time, would it kill you to knock?
I like that one.
And Kirby Bartlett Sloan.
Oh, bad wolf girl, I could kiss you.
And then be up for some sort of sexual harassment thing, I should imagine. Right then, so today, it's the time of the Doctor, and a little bit of the previous episode, which I think was called The Night of the Doctor, or something. Hang on, I've got it.
No, it's not the time of the Doctor.
The Day of the Doctor. Yeah, so it's the night of... Shut your face.
It's easy to confuse them.
Hang on, I've put time of the Doctor. I think I might have got myself tied in a bit of knot in the little... the titles of the... Oh, bloody hell, I've made a right balls up there, haven't I? Day of the... What are we doing today?
Day of the Doctor.
Oh, I got it right! Yes, it's...
it's kind of like, the Sword of Rassilon.
No, I can't believe I got it right, Mary.
Crown of Rassilon.
The stuff I have to do, it's distracting. Anyway, but quickly, I'll be doing the Night of the Doctor, which I shall cover very, very briefly, Kirby. Very, very... Hang on, what's her name again? Debbie.
Yes.
Debbie, hello?
Yes.
Right, could you sort of find the definition of the word briefly, send it over to Kirby.
Oh, Master.
Yes. Yes.
Did you check your recording levels?
Yes, I sort of, yes. I have, yes. Well,
I had that sitting in front of me to remind you when things went crazy.
Yes, great that you remind me about 3 minutes into the show. When we've already started. Yeah, that worked
I would
really,
have
really
reminded
well.
you at the proper time, but no.
That wasn't our fault, it was your fault.
No, exactly. And what was I going to say? I was going to say something then, I completely forgot. Never mind. Oh, yes, we've got stuff coming through on the live feed because people have been waiting so long for the show to actually start while watching it on the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who Podcast Facebook group, which you can join. And... Right, what have we got here? I've got a window in the way. Oh, there it is, right there. Tim Drury.
There we go.
Bit of a delay there. We'll blame Elon Musk for that one. Anyway, he says, I've caught up and... Hang on, I've got the wrong way around. That was 2 minutes, 5 minutes ago. Yeah, that's right. I've caught up and passed you. Oh, will you be reviewing the new episodes? I will be sort of talking about them, but not doing a full-on synopsis like we're going
I
to
hope
do
we
with
can
these episodes.
discuss what just came on the other day.
Will you shut up? Right then, Tim Drury says, it's a great FanTC Con episode. I bet none of you lot will listen to that one. I'll tell you what, I apologise again for the terrible sound quality, especially on Debbie's interview with Aaron, because unfortunately I think he might have been a little bit too close to the microphone. And Lillian Robbins says, I'm late too. When's it due, Lillian? Hang on, where's my bell? Hang on.
Well, we waited for you, Lillian.
Yeah. And Terry Miles says, you're not late, don't worry. Well, I bloody well am. Right then. So, this week, we're going to be... did you send over the meaning of briefly, Debbie, to Kirby?
No, I looked at it and you guys just carried on talking, so...
No, just send it over to him. He might pick it up as a message. Someone else has come through. Lillian Robbins says, I listened to the FanTC Con 1 too. No, hang on. I listened to FanTC Con 1. Yes. Yeah. No, it's FanTC-Con 3.
Aaron kept moving forward.
Oh, you're blaming Aaron. Right, okay, fine. Okay.
Well, yeah, I ended up sat on the table.
Yeah. Right, so the Night of the Doctor features the Eighth Doctor sort of in a bit of a skirmish. He arrives on this spaceship. He's going to rescue this Cass lady and starts carting her towards the TARDIS at the back of the ship. And, of course, the ship's crashing. So they go to the back of the ship because it gives them about 1/millionth of a second more time. But as soon as she realises it's a TARDIS, she starts getting very suspicious and decides not to. She'd rather die than join the Doctor and the TARDIS. So they crashes and they're all dead, but the sisters of Khan, is it? Sort of give the Doctor sort of an elixir to keep him alive for 4 minutes, to give him a choice of either living on as a new incarnation that might save the universe, or dying as the 8th Doctor. What?
Or knitting.
Or dying as the 8th Doctor. Of course, he's really got no choice, so he said, what do you want? It's, warrior. So, takes a warrior thing. They said it was going to hurt, but it didn't seem to hurt him too much. Anyway, he regenerates, and he's got a very young looking...
Of course it hurt.
Caligula looking... Caligula looking John Hurt is there in a reflection form. And then we go straight into the Day of the Doctor. Oh, I should have actually had it ready.
Wait, before you fully leave the Night of the Doctor, I have a little bragging to do.
Ooh.
Because when this took place, this was the 50th anniversary, of course.
Yes.
Paul McGann was a guest at Chicago TARDIS.
Oh, here you go, name dropping.
And that's where I sat next to him, and he gave me his phone to look at.
Oh, did he now? Is that a euphemism?
There was a message from Moffat saying, hey, surprise, we have to release this early because the fans are catching on. So happy birthday, because they released it on his birthday, which was a few days before the actual con and everything. Yes. So that's where I got to see, Stephen Moffat's message to McGann to tell him about how he's going to release the Night of the Doctor.
And that's not all you got from Paul McGann, was it, Mary? It's gone very quiet.
And that's where I got those pictures that
Just
I posted.
Pictures, was it? Okay.
Yes, because there we were.
As I recall.
And we sat and we talked for a good hour. It was a good time.
Yes. Anyway, sorry.
I remember 10 years ago, I had just barely started my current job. I've never been someplace where I've worked there for full 10 years. I expect to retire from this job. Anyway, I didn't have
retiring
a
now.
smartphone. Hello.
No, carry on. Sorry.
I didn't have a smartphone. I just had a little, oh no, you're going to laugh, an iPod Touch, an Apple product.
Woo! They're good. iPod Touches. They still work. I've got one.
Yeah, I haven't turned mine on in years, but it's kind of cool because it's basically everything except for an iPhone.
Yes, is that?
But I had been checking Doctor Who stuff that morning, the Night of the Doctor came out, and within 15 minutes I was able to see it at work, and I was just blown away. I just loved it.
Thank you. Right then, so the Day of the Doctor begins rather sexily with the old William Hartnell opening titles and stuff, which I know Kirby has only just recovered from, even 10 years on, when he saw that coming up.
Well, I was like, Mummy, are we watching the wrong one? I was like,
The funny thing is that when this episode was originally on, we'd only just finished watching this particular title sequence rolling up the screen regularly.
I love the I Chesterton on the sign too.
Yes, that's right. That was very good, wasn't it? But I didn't quite get Clara being a school teacher all of a sudden. But we'll live with it for the for the reasons of this
Master?
particular. Oh God,
Master. There's that sign for I Am Foreman being basically right down the street. If that's the case, why did Ian and Barbara have to drive?
Because they're lazy.
He had to bring his car with him because the caretaker would have locked it in school.
Well, the headmaster was W. Coburn.
And also, they were on their way home, I guess. So that's it.
The headmaster was W. Coburn.
Yes.
Yeah. I love the school, actually. It reminds me, it looks like Denmark Road Primary School, which is now knocked down, and it was a car park, now it's a set of
People
apartments.
were adamant that I went to that as a primary school. I went to the primary school on the mainland. When I moved to Cowes, it was already torn down in a car park.
It does look like like Denmark Road. Anyway, so she's a teacher and she jumps on a motorbike and off she goes because she's got an inkling the Doctor's about. And I love the scene where she rides straight into the TARDIS. It's quite cool. And the camera follows her in. That's quite.
Yeah, but imagine all the fumes.
Oh, it won't affect. It's
like when Chitty Chitty Bang Bang left FantasyCon, we were all just there going.
Yeah, and the noise. The motorcycle is not quiet. Yes, in that small space.
Anyway, the Doctor looks a little bit like Buddy Holly with those round glasses on, and his hair in a quiff. But anyway, they sort of have a little bit of banter and sort of have a greeting, and then an alarm goes off, and the TARDIS turns out is being grabbed by. It's come out of one of those sort of prize machines at a fairgrounds.
I'm really surprised though that she goes, "Oh, we just found it, so we're bringing it in." It's like, do you think to knock?
Yeah, no, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
But what I get, it's like one of those grabbers that have a plate, one of those fairgrounds, and it doesn't drop it after 5 seconds for no reason whatsoever. But anyway, so
and the TARDIS lands in London all the time. Why did they do this? And yet RTD's referencing the same thing next week or whichever the 3 episodes is going to have the TARDIS and a helicopter.
Anyway, the next scene is Kate. Obviously, that my old friend I got cuddles from Kate Stewart watching a crowd of people on the sort of little walkway. It's a riverside walkway just in front of Tower Bridge, which appear to be watching the filming of Doctor Who. Anyway. And of course,
that was Trafalgar Square is absolutely full of people watching Doctor Who being filmed.
Yeah. Anyway, we meet Osgood. I believe this is the first time we meet Osgood in a yes. Not quite accurate Doctor Who scarf, not a Lavazzi one, obviously. No, okay, I'll get
fan-made.
This particular version of the asthma-bound sidekick of Kate Stewart doesn't have the Seventh Doctor's question mark pullover at this stage. Anyway, so eventually the after some comedy hanging from underneath the TARDIS and having the legs hanging out the door and being held in by Clara, they sort of managed to land the TARDIS in was it Trafalgar Square, like you said, wasn't it? Or was it St Paul's Cathedral? I can't
it's
remember.
Trafalgar Square.
It's Trafalgar Square, which is quite more than a stone's throw away from Tower Bridge.
In for the art museum.
Yeah, it's more than a stone's throw away from Tower Bridge, to be fair, but no mind. Anyway, so very good scenes, and he's got a letter from Queen Elizabeth I, and they cart him off to.
Yeah, I'll look it up myself.
There's husband in it as well. And
Tower Bridge, where there's something I haven't quite seen yet, but Kirby has a 3-dimensional painting from Gallifrey itself. And
did you try to watch in 3D?
Not yet. Mick still has my my 3D goggle thingies, and I'd have to find the Blu-ray, which is in a cupboard somewhere. So once I've found those two things combine, I'll get a chance to see it via that means, Kirby. Sorry, I haven't been able to see it.
Yeah, well, I watched it in 3D again yesterday, and it's a great way of
just to show off. Yes.
No.
Yes. Anyway, the Doctor starts getting these flashbacks when he looks into this painting, which is supposedly of a Gallifreyan city falling. I can't remember the name of the city. Darn it.
It's the second city.
I can't remember. It's Arcadia or something like that, isn't it?
Arcadia, you're right.
And within the painting is the back of the War Doctor, and there's lots of Dalek ships, and they show some scenes of the war and people getting blown up and kids running.
And some great music.
Yeah, and then obviously the War Doctor. That's a new name for him. The War Doctor turns up and in his rather really battered TARDIS.
We just saw
sounds about right, doesn't it?
Tower of London.
Yeah, the War Doctor, battered TARDIS. Anyway, he sort of scares the Daleks just by being there, and then there's a few explosions and a sign on the wall that says "No more."
No, he shoots it on there, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
He shoots it on there. It says "No more." Anyway, but I do love the sort of the Dalek that's had its top end severed and it's lying on its side, sort of watching it.
What is this? Explain.
Yeah.
What does this mean?
I presume that in the headquarters at the High Council of the Time Lords, the bald-headed bloke is Rassilon. I didn't actually count.
No,
He's got the symbol on his clothes. So.
Who is he then?
No.
Who is he then?
No. He is just a general. They make reference to the High Council because
he's wearing Rassilon seals.
Yeah.
they use that all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
If you notice on the collar of one of the other guys, there's Rassilon seals.
And Adam and I have both got them as well. Yeah.
No.
But they make reference to the High Council because remember, this is taking place around right after the previous episode where we had the spitting of Rassilon.
The spit of Rassilon.
The spit of Rassilon, yes. and that episode, what was that? The End of Time?
Yes.
Part 2?
Yes.
And they, in the End of Time Part 2, they reference the moment. And
Right.
so they say that the Doctor has the moment.
Yes, he does. Yes, they do. Anyway, so
And we didn't know what that meant.
we do now. Anyway,
Well, we do now.
So anyway, like you say, the moment has been. The Doctor still has the moment, and he's taken it to a shed in the middle of a sort of deserty type
I
place.
thought it was a barn.
I'm going to say a shed. All right, Debbie, what is it? Shed or barn?
It's a barn.
Thank you.
Too much straw for it to
No,
be just a
please.
shed, Adam.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's kind of a crappy
All right,
falling
that's
apart
a-
barn.
Yeah,
Barn,
and
yeah.
it's too strawy and barny to be a shed.
Barney. That's a different type of thing.
And it's going to involve the Clara's ankle being grabbed by the Doctor in a few more episodes in that barn.
Okay, thank you, Kirby, isn't it? Anyway, so the Doctor, as in the War Doctor, sort of is fiddling around with the moment, trying to get it to work, and then suddenly Billy Piper turns up and is rather
Rose
good.
Tyler, bad wolf.
Yeah, really cool. And
Master?
love the way he
Yeah.
kicks it out of her out of the barn, and then she reappears back sat on the moment. Yes, what?
Why
The
can't
ball-
it be
the
both?
ball-
Stuff like that.
The bald-headed character is credited as the General.
Congratulations. Right then, so he's sort of fighting with this.
important.
He wants to blow up the everything, Time Lords and Daleks. And to cut a long story short, the moment, i.e. Billy Piper, says, yeah, you can do that, but your punishment will be to survive, which I thought was quite cool. So that goes on. But basically, the moment's job as the interface of the moment itself, Billy's job, is to try and persuade, because it's such a terrible weapon. And I do love this idea of this. The weapon itself knows it can do what it can do, but it will persuade you not to. So
Doctor's going, are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you positive?
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's the moment that creates this whole thing by trying desperately hard to persuade the Doctor not to do what he's going to do. Meanwhile, moving forward a little bit here, there's some mysterious little scenes like that chap taking the phone call from a mysterious person, and which we find out later on who made the phone call, why it was, and what was said in it. Just sort of sowing seeds for later in the episode, just to sort of string some things together. And then we cut back to the 10th Doctor, flirting big time with that.
Flirting big time. He's proper romance.
With
He never did any of that for old Rose,
with
did he?
Stacy. Oh, sorry,
How do
no,
we
it's Queen
know?
Elizabeth I. No, I don't mind him flirting with the Queen. She's a queen. And I guess she doesn't look anything like Queen Elizabeth, but it's quite a good laugh though. Anyway, so he's there flirting big time and romancing, and he's got something. I think this is set in the time where he's leading up to his regeneration, isn't he? He hasn't got a companion, and he's just sort of living out his, he's sort of having a bit of fun before he gets
Goes
into that
to you,
situation
yeah.
at the end of time. So it's his well, they call it his reward or something, or did that happen before he actually regenerated? I can't remember. But anyway,
I've never seen Gavin and Stacey, should I?
I said Stacy.
No, I know. I've never seen it. Should I?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, like I say, he's romancing her, but what we don't know at this stage, he thinks she's a Zygon, and when he confront, I can't speak, confronts
so
her.
rude to her every time he does it.
Yeah, and this is. I wondered where that I've got a machine that goes ding comes from, and this is it. That it's become quite a legendary sort of thing. I've got a machine that goes ding.
I thought he had a machine that went ding in with Martha.
No, I want this one to be the only one because this is better. Shut up, Kirby. Anyway, anyway, the horse turns into the Zygon, and he's left looking a bit silly because it actually is Queen Elizabeth, and she keeps kissing him.
He's just insulted the Queen of England, you know. Yeah.
And she gets chased by the Zygon through the woods. The Doctor starts running around and meets this rabbit, and another hilarious scene where comes up with all this stuff. You're just a rabbit, aren't you? She's really fabulous. You don't get rabbits to look like that in the bushes, but it's a really good looking rabbit, so we'll forgive that.
That's probably why he thought it was a Zygon, because it didn't look like your normal
too perfect,
mangy British rabbit.
Yeah. Anyway, then the Doctor. Oh dear. Yes.
Yes. In Blink. This is.
I don't want to know because I wanted this to be the only machine that goes ding. Shut up, Kirby. Anyway, right. Then there's suddenly two Queen Elizabeths.
Who is the resident today?
Kirby, let Adam finish his sentence, so we'll be here till midnight.
Did you send him about the brief, the meaning of the word brief?
No, but I'm probably going to do it
Please
now.
do so. Because otherwise we won't have any illegal leg to stand on.
Shutting up, sir.
Anyway, so the 10th Doctor is sort of confronted by two Queen Elizabeths. Obviously, one is a Zygon, one isn't. And then a Fez suddenly appears from above the top of his head, which confuses them somewhat. A Fez has already, I forgot to mention this.
You'll be able to walk past the Fez. No.
I forgot to mention this. A Fez had already appeared with the War Doctor in the barn, because I accidentally skipped past that bit. Meanwhile, back in the depths of Unit, the Doctor and Clara are being shown some stuff covered in sheets, and obviously we don't know at this stage, but the Zygons, because there's no things, the painting used to have figures in it, but they're all gone because actually the Zygons were finding a way to, because they crashed.
The other Doctors.
So basically, the Zygons,
are under there.
the Zygons went to the wrong period in time, which is Elizabethan time, and they're using this painting to get to present day, so they can do an invasion. They like invading, the old Zygons. And anyway, the Doctor finds a Fez within a museum sort of case thingy and puts it on so he can throw it up through this sort of time swirly thing that the moment's created, and then he jumps into it, and we get the 10th and 11th Doctors together bantering off big time. And
contemplating much.
Yes, yes. Queen Elizabeth, Zygon Queen Elizabeth, which one it may be, keeps kissing the. Must have been horrible for her to have to keep kissing David Tennant and those things. And then back in the barn.
The War Doctor saying, "Does this happen a lot?"
Yeah, he's not there yet. He's still in the barn at the moment, polishing off a Fez. And then he arrives. And, of course, the other two Doctors, oh, my God, it's him. Oh my God. And then a load of soldiers turn up, and Clara's asked, because obviously, to be a witch and call some lines through the swirly thing, just to scare off the soldiers. And then, they get sort of shut in a dungeon, and I do love, obviously I haven't mentioned it yet, this thing about the sonic screwdrivers, and when they sort of wave their sonic screwdrivers at him, and he said, well, what are you going to do, build a cabinet at me? I did love that.
Yeah.
Genius line. And of course, within their time in the dungeon, and the time that our characters start turning, some Zygons start taking over the Unit bit, it's that bit's a bit confusing, only because you're supposed to be confused, obviously, because you know.
Well, you know it's going to be not proper,
I know, but it doesn't. They're supposed to be confusing. That's why these Zygons are there, to cause a bit of confusion amongst the people there and the viewers. So Osgood has a fight with Osgood, but Kate takes Clara down into the ultra depths of unit, where all the stuff that the doctor's not allowed to know that they have is
proof, yeah.
yeah, including a vortex manipulator, very, very
donated
handy.
by Captain Jack Harkness on his death. Well, one of them.
Yes, and of course the code for operating this thing is sent to them, which allows when the Zygon, that horrible scene when Zygon Kate becomes a Zygon.
Let me state that the code happens to be the date and time of the first episode, An Unearthly Child.
Great. Yeah. Right. So, and just
I'm
as
muting
Clara,
myself again.
just as Clara's about to get done in, she brightly reads the code and puts some more vortex manipulator on and arrives back where the doctors are. And of course, to keep things consistent, the 11th Doctor is carving that code onto the wall and stuff. And the funny thing is, obviously, when Clara arrives, they were trying to find a way of disintegrating the door by using the age of their sonic screwdrivers, learning the code. Of course, it was already open. This is fab.
Try the door, you know.
Yeah, really.
And so I'm just moving forward a bit. And then Queen Elizabeth turns up and takes them. Of course, it turns out this is actually the real Queen Elizabeth, who's pretending to be a Zygon, just to confuse the Zygons.
And then Ten's rude to her again.
Yes, because he thinks she's an actual Zygon, but she loves him so much, she lets him off rather than chopping his head off.
She marries him, for goodness sake.
Anyway, they have to go. So the Doctor quickly marries Queen Elizabeth, and then he runs off into the TARDIS, followed by the others. And as the others trap in the TARDIS, I know Kirby got excited. I felt the vibrations of Kirby's excitement, even here on the Isle of Wight, when the desktop theme changed as they all got in there, and the round bits and everything. Didn't you get excited, Kirby?
Oh, you're gonna let me talk?
Let.
Oh, he's sulking.
You just kind of jump in when you feel like it.
He normally does. Go on.
I didn't like the fact that they called them the round things, because
What?
they've always been called roundels.
Kirby! Right, that's it. Is that it? I was going to thought.
But I did like the you've redecorated.
Oh, no, I didn't like that. I thought it was a bit cheesy. Where's the little thing for Kirby? Here it is. There we go. Okay, right. Where do we get up to? Oh, yes. Something's happening. Oh, yeah, Clara's saying stuff. So, meanwhile at unit, it's all going off with between the Zygons and the humans, and the Kates decide to have a little bit of a chat. And the real human Kate sets off this 5-minute self-destruct thingy. I don't remember any. It's normally Kirk or Picard in self-destruct sequences, but nothing was mentioned there. And they start sort of bickering off. I love if you look at the acting between the Zygon ones and the human ones, it's just the expression on the actors' faces behind Kate is quite clever. You've got the sinister expressions for the Zygons. Now you must watch this quite closely. Closely. So just watch when the camera's on the Zygons. They're always standing there. There's the Zygon Kate with a sinister face, and a wide shot of the Zygon Osgood and the Zygon whoever that other bloke is, looking really sinister. And then the camera cuts to non-Zygon human Kate when the Osgood's standing under the side looking a bit scared, and the other bloke just looking bewildered. It's quite clever. Meanwhile, in the TARDIS, the Doctors are panicking somewhat, and they arrive back in unit and go down into the cellar. And while that's all happening, the 11th Doctor phones that bloke and tells him to take the painting down into the whatever that place is, dungeons. And the Doctor, when he gets to this,
is it called like the Black Archive?
That's it. That'll do. Sounds Doctor Who-ish, doesn't it? When they arrive in the Black Archive, after a little bit of a battle on Gallifrey, getting rid of a few Daleks, the Doctor shoots this thing in the ceiling with a sonic screwdriver and makes it so that the Zygons and the humans don't know who are Zygons or humans. And they really don't. The Kates have to cancel the self-destruct very quickly. And of course, that's that rather iconic scene of the doctors sat on the chairs and doing some cross-leg dancing and pushing the chair back dance, so they all sort of stand up in synchronicity and stuff like that, which is quite cool. Meanwhile, there's Osgood saying shush to the other Osgood and handing over the puffer, and everybody's a little bit confused. So they can't fight because they don't know who's who. Then Clara has a little chat with the War Doctor, and he now knows what he needs to do, so he buggers off back to the barn, where there's a big red button for him to press. And he's going to do it, but then a couple of TARDISes turn up on cue, because obviously the moment has told him to do the sound that the TARDIS makes. Of course, the two TARDISes arrive, and they're all going to press the button together, because they all did it, and then suddenly the 11th Doctor realises that they have another idea, another plan. They could just trap Gallifrey in almost like a time bubble, so as it's hidden
in a stasis cube.
Yes. Which is what they do, because they really can't kill those lovely little children and stuff like that. There must be another way, and there was. And they did this, and
no, sir,
saved Gallifrey and essentially the Daleks as well. To be fair, but because not all they said that the Daleks will be killed in the crossfire, but as we well know, that didn't actually happen, did it?
Nope.
And also, there's a point in which, quite surprisingly, actually, when I was watching the story, that the General, as we now know he is, sort of said, "Oh, go on then. I think there's no other choice." Said, "Go on then. Trap us in time, and that's fine." So what they do is they get all 12 Doctors, all 13 of them, to fly around and around Gallifrey and create this situation that saves them, basically. And
Master,
hooray, Gallifrey stands. And then back at the National Gallery, which we should have gone in actually when we were last in London, and I should have done, and I didn't. I will do next time. They all
that's not the National Gallery. Yes, it is in the story, but it's the Cardiff Museum, as usual.
Yeah, I thought it looked a bit different, but never mind. And so then they have this final scene, everybody saying goodbye, and everybody realising that they're not going to remember anything, so they ask for some spoilers, which they're going to forget, etc., etc. And the War Doctor goes off, and after saying that his future is in safe hands, regenerates into, if you stare at it long enough, you imagine it being the Ninth Doctor, but in fact there's no actual sign of the Ninth Doctor's face appearing there at all.
But the reference
it's a shame. What?
The reference to his ears tells us.
I know.
It is Eccles K.
Obviously. And then, obviously, 10 says goodbye to 11. I'm saying how the Whovians say it, but just to save time and all that. And 11 tells 10 about the Trenzlaw thingy, and he says he don't want to go. And then, obviously,
he says that a lot.
That. Then Clara goes to give the Doctor time on his own with his painting. And then, when I watched this at the Doctor Who celebration 10 years ago, can you believe? Nearly exactly 10 years, only a couple of days off now. Yeah. When Tom Baker appeared on the screen, everybody, I think there was a few people in tears, to be fair. There was cheers, there was gasps, tears.
I was stood outside watching that bit, and Tom and Nyla said they could hear me going, "Hooray!"
I cheered here in my living room.
He looks so well as well, doesn't he? I've seen pictures of him recently. He looks really,
very frail.
Pictures.
Yeah, he's looking frail.
He is. And that's wonderful. I didn't actually, when it cut to the scene of all the Doctors sort of staring out to what I presume is Gallifrey, it did look really. You're looking across the line and seeing the very poor wigs, especially for the Sixth Doctor and the Fifth Doctor. What were they thinking? But I suppose they had to do that. But yeah, it's charming, to be fair. And also, not just that, it's the third Doctor. His hair's too long for starters. But it was a charming sort of nod to the history of Doctor Who. And then the end title sequence were something different and rather cute. So, there we go. That was the Day of the Doctor. Now, we've already, every time we talk about the Day of the Doctor, we don't hide, well, I don't know about you lot, I don't hide my sheer delight in this story.
We've only talked about it one other time, and that was 10 years ago.
No, I'm just saying, we have mentioned it from time to time that it's a great episode.
Yes, we do mention it, yeah.
And it doesn't disappoint. I haven't watched it for ages, to be fair, and I think when it's so good, it's good sometimes not to keep on watching something that's really, really good over and over again, because then you can reappreciate it every time you watch it. I can hear Isabella and Owen out in the corridor. They're just about to come in here and make a right racket, so just pre-warning you. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a fabulous celebration, as it was called. Actually, the event was called Celebration, wasn't it? Of Doctor Who, and it's probably... as far as an anniversary special goes, it's probably going to be difficult to beat it. I can't imagine this year's one beats it. I think it's going to be good fun. But and I say we'll talk about what happened on Children in Need in a minute. But it's
Didn't Children in Need. I'm sorry.
It's definitely gush-worthy brilliance, and I actually think it's better than I originally remembered it being. And yeah, it's just fabulous, isn't it, Debbie?
Yes.
Debbie, what did you say about Children in Need?
I didn't watch Children in Need.
It's readily available on.
Yes, I haven't watched it yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, well.
I'm catching up with a month's worth.
No,
of
I didn't
stuff
say
that
no. I wouldn't watch the whole of Children in Need. I'm talking about the Doctor Who bit.
Yeah, I haven't seen those bits yet.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Guess who's going to be spoiled then? You might want to pitch your fingers in your ears later on. But anyway, what did you think of this?
I don't mind spoilers. I've never minded spoilers.
Okay.
I still enjoy the ride.
That's good.
But yeah, I'm sorry I haven't watched it yet, Kirby. I mean, you know, I've been ill for a month. I've been catching up with everybody.
It is only 6 minutes long, Debbie.
Better? You better?
A lot better.
Okay, good.
So what did you think of Day of the Doctor then?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I think wonderful. I think this. I don't even mind Clara in this. That's how much I enjoyed this.
Oh, that's saying a lot.
Yes, that is a lot. This is probably my favourite episode of Matt Smith's era, definitely. I mean, what's not to really enjoy about it? You've got John Hurt in it. I mean, he's just...
It's amazing.
He's an amazing actor. I've loved him for years, and you know his voice was part of my childhood. You know, and there he is, just being magnificent as the War Doctor, and it's just brought so much more gravitas to Doctor Who, which it has been missing of late in the stories, and just to sort of seem to centre it all again, centre the Doctors again, and just bring it back to feeling
front and sides.
Well, back front and sides, but it is. I really enjoy it. The music is phenomenal throughout the whole of this. The acting is beautifully done, and Tom Baker at the end is just the cherry on the cake of a really good episode. Yeah. And I love this story. I love the idea of them not knowing who the Zygons are, and you know, it's well written and it keeps going. There's no moment where you just sort of just sat there going, with the action.
There's no moment, Debbie.
What happens in most of Capaldi's era is, you know, you get out and then you have to stop, and then you all the way through. Stop, start. This is a great linear story. It all makes sense. It ties together. And it's good to explore the past of the Doctor that he's mentioned, and is still troubling him so badly. And the fact that it will still trouble him because he won't remember doing this is just, it's a great idea. It's a great premise. I like that. And I think they could technically, I know they've done it in a bit of Big Finish and things like that, but they could definitely explore a lot more of the in-between years. And I'd definitely be up for that. I think it's a cracking episode, and it reignited during the Matt Smith era when I watched it the first time my love for Doctor Who, definitely, because I felt I wasn't losing the love, but I was getting a bit fed up of the amount of stories that we were just going to, you know. And this one brings back the hooray and cheering factor. That
hang on, they get worse.
Stop it, Kirby.
Stop it! I'm enjoying doing now? But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that was prime Doctor Who viewing, and is definitely one that should be shown to people who go, so Doctor Who, what's it all about? Because you got Tom Baker in it as well. I mean, come on, what's not to love?
Thank you, Debbie. What did you think of it, Kirby?
I absolutely adore this story. It hit me as being one of the best stories when I first saw it. That morning, was it morning? Whatever time of day we watched it. I watched it again later that day in a crowd of people, and it was great to see it with other fans, like you said, Adam. You saw it with a crowd.
Yep.
Wow.
And it was great. It doesn't make sense. It's a science fiction fantasy TV show, but it's great. However, my favorite 50th anniversary tribute is the Five-Ish Doctors.
Oh, yeah, that's cracking.
It is better for just being a tribute to the show and the anniversary.
Okay. I accept that. I don't agree with it, but so you won't get any ass for that one, Kirby, because it is brilliant. Oh, are you done?
Yeah, and you better sit down.
I am. Okay, everybody, we've been.
Right,
thank you, Kirby. We've been blowing up the proverbial.
Yeah, we can let Mary say
do you mind me finishing my piece? We've been blowing up the proverbial balloon on this episode to give Mary the pin. Here we go.
Well, I mean, I have to hand it to it. It's an anniversary show, so not a lot is expected except to entertain the already devoted fans. But I would never show this to a new person who doesn't know about Doctor Who, because this is so chock full of references to things that the ongoing fans, have always loved, that a new person would be totally lost. And Deb kind of says it, that the writing isn't great. The story is all over the place. But I think that everybody loves it for the very reason that it's a great anniversary show, and it appeals to all the people who are already devoted to the show. But yeah, it doesn't hang together. And for me anyway, when we say this is like the best of Matt Smith, I don't think it's the best of him, but it shows off all of his quirks and everything. And a lot of things are going to ride on that from here on, which is why the show is going to get so bad. Because I think Matt Smith has shown us everything he can as the Doctor. We talk about how having John Hurt in this brings gravitas to the Doctor, and it needs it, because between David Tennant and Matt Smith, I mean, the two of them are just like balls of fluff throughout this whole story. And we do need an anchor like a John Hurt, but from here on out, there's going to be an attempt to try to bring some of that gravitas back, and it's just going to kill.
Yeah.
It's just going to kill, because all these, Night of the Doctor, Day of the Doctor, Name of the Doctor, whatever, the favorite pet of the Doctor, whatever.
That is the raffle stuff.
It's Moffat trying to keep cashing in on, what made Matt Smith and David Tennant so popular. And we see it here, but this is it. This is like I said, a ball of fluff. It's just going to, a balloon that's going to pop, and it's all going to go downhill from here. And yeah, I found it entertaining, and a lot of things that I enjoyed. But at the end of it, it was like I just ate a ball of cotton candy. And what is there? There's nothing except for John Hurt. So yeah, I don't mean to bring everybody down, but to me, this is a harbinger of the end. Matt Smith is already checking out when it comes to this. So. Yeah, we're
already being primed for 13, so it's like
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but people are just so joyful watching this. You don't want to say bad things about it, but there really is nothing there. It's just like being a ball.
I get that. Yeah, totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. And it leaves you hungry for more, and there isn't any more.
There isn't any more. Yeah, that's what I'm trying
there
not to
are
look
some
at.
good
Kirby
stories
has to
coming.
remind me.
There are some good stories coming.
Oh, we've changed his tune. Hang on, that's got to be let's find an appropriate sound effect. There we go. Okay, right. So, Kirby, I'm not going to even bother asking you to read out your requests for feedback.
Is there anything going on the feed?
Nothing, is there? But on the feed, Debbie. Good segue.
Yeah, the only feedback is Ian.
Yeah, so as I just said to you, I'm not going to bother asking you. We've got, so I'd like to reiterate what Tim Drury said. Great fan TC-Con episode. Thank you, Tim. Oh, I forgot to play the...
I missed it because I watched a TC-Con video, but it was all about the room selling stuff. I didn't see any interviews.
You won't see them yet.
Did you see the clip where Tom goes, and that was really good for me, or something? Because he was at the end of the joke.
There is a longer version I haven't edited yet, and there's going to be a shorter version ready for the announcement for next year.
And there's a podcast.
What?
Mary may not be aware that you released a podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No, she thinks she's talking about the film. I haven't done there are videos, Mary, coming to my YouTube channel of the interviews.
I want to see interviews.
Yes, you will see that. The videos will go out when I get them on there. But for listeners, those interviews are on episode 572. Or was it 3? I can't remember. One of them ones. Quite recent.
And that confused me when I was putting together filling out the spreadsheet because I initially got them wrong.
Right. So you didn't listen to the bit I said that I will be that will be a gap episode. So never mind.
Oh, I knew that one of them was that one, but you ordered them differently than I expected.
Well, I couldn't tell you how I was going to order them till I'd done them.
Exactly.
Well, there you go.
You're the boss. You're the master.
Oh, apparently so.
As you put on TikTok. I love that.
Jeez.
Apparently so.
Right, yeah, so as Kirby's feature doesn't feature, because nobody actually answered his request for feedback, we can just move on to the bog standard stuff that we normally do. Starting with a certain...
From the Mileses? We didn't get anything from
nothing from the Mileses, unless I'm very much mistaken. Oh, actually, no, I was doing the stuff coming through on the live feed, wasn't I? Lillian Robin, I'm late too. Terry Miles, you're not late, don't worry. I got something from Terry, so that's pretty good. And then Lillian Robin said, I've done that one. I listened to the Fantasy Con 1, 2, Con 1 and then 2. And then I've looked into trying to get Clara's dress for cosplay, but it's a designer dress I can't afford. Terry Miles, happy birthday, Ian Chesterton. And then he says, 99 today. I'll have one of those with a flake.
So will Kirby read Roberts?
Oh, yes, he will. But I'm still continuing with the live feed stuff. Neil James says, hi, you beautiful souls. He must think he's on a Tamla Motown podcast there. I don't know what's going on. And then this episode was breathtaking. Thank you very much. That's the first time anybody's said that our podcast is breathtaking. That's got to be worth a ding. And then Lillian Robbins starts flirting with Neil by saying, hi, Neil James. And then Neil James starts flirting with Lillian, saying, hi, Lillian. I could put you in your own little chat room there, Lillian and Neil, but we'll carry on anyway. And then Terry Miles said, I sent feedback 2 weeks ago. Thanks, Terry. Right, in the meantime, Kirby's going to read out Robert's feedback. I've got to try and find out how to get back in time to find this email.
And the thing is, just like, you know that I'm always listening to our previous recordings of when we're doing all these. So I listened to 10 years ago this morning, and Robert wasn't quite this negative today at the doctor.
He's right grumpy now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Tired.
Okay, he says, I'm really struggling to stay awake. I'm going to have to bail on the podcast again. Sorry, so sorry. Really hoping I can make it next week. Anyway, here's some thoughts on the 2013 special. Moffat's writing can really grate with me at times. He seems to want everything to come out sounding so clever and witty. He likes humor far too much. Did we really have to have the sonic screwdriver drivel when 10 and 11 meet? How old is Moffat? 2? I did rather enjoy the interactions when all 3 doctors were there. John Hurt talking about the timey-wimey stuff was funny. Nice to see Moffat taking the proverbial out of the
Bless you.
Sorry.
What was that, a cat?
Adam exploded, I think.
Was it a cat?
Did you explode, Adam?
No, I sneezed.
I have to go back and watch that on the video. John Hurt added so much to proceedings. He was the highlight for me. He actually made Moffat's writing more than it was, despite the other doctors giving it a red-hot go. I'm so annoyed, though, with the Zygons. They give them that stupid sneer and pointed teeth and have them snarling at the camera all the time.
Oh, they're baddies.
He makes them pantomime villains. They were baddies when we first saw them. I loved that they were. I don't like the Capaldi ones, but anyway, we'll get to those. Robert continues, I don't like that. And it was 2 stories in one. We had a Zygon concern as well as Gallifrey. And he misspelled Gallifrey. And the Time War stuff. The Zygon stuff seems superfluous, really. I wasn't convinced about the cooperation between the Zygons and humans, whereas it's designed to be a tense moment that we're supposed to be into. But to be frank, ooh, Betty.
Very good.
Ooh, Betty.
Explain. I was just waiting to get back to the Gallifrey matter. Billy's back in front and sides.
That's pushing things too far
Which she
now.
seems to be struggling with for her dialogue. I do like the way that they managed to fit her in, being part of the device. I like how the doctors got out of the destruction plan so that the War Doctor wasn't all that bad in the end. Only seems like he was. But John Hurt, thanks for doing Doctor Who. I'm glad he got to play the War Doctor again in the Big Finish audios, which I still haven't listened to. It's a shame his TV appearance was so limited, as he was good in the special. Just thought I'd add, I'm not happy with what they're doing with Davros. I don't mind a story with him, not in his life support chair, but, oh, by the way, this is spoilers, Debbie.
That's fine, I know. I've seen all the spoilers.
Not his life support chair, but to say that they're no longer portraying him in it is ridiculous and such a pathetic excuse. There are good people in wheelchairs, and there are bad people in wheelchairs, just like there are good people who wear suits and bad people who wear suits. To go ahead and say it's not to depict someone in a wheelchair as evil is just pathetic. For one, his chair is his life support system. This is the kind of woke stuff that's just pathetic, absolutely pathetic, and the way RTD has carried on is pathetic too.
Oh dear, give him a chance.
And I don't know if you saw what Nabil Shaban said, but he had a good response to all this as well, as he's actually disabled. So,
While you're there, right?
Post about it
right.
on his Facebook page. Nabsil wrote quite a good. I'd
yes,
and having a look
exactly.
at it.
Right. Okay, while you're there, in regards to this subject, right? A lot of people who ended up in a wheelchair were able-bodied before they ended up in a wheelchair. This is taking Davros back to before he ended up in a... What's the bloody problem? It's ridiculous.
No, what happened was, all of us thought, we're just seeing him before he had his accident.
Yes.
Yeah,
The problem is because RTD came on and said some things about it that he didn't... that made it change canon.
Don't think so. I think that's before he had the accident.
Everyone else's headcanon is that it's before.
Yes, of course it is.
I thought from what I've seen, I thought it was before his accident.
And also,
I personally, when I was a lot younger, I thought he ended up in that chair because he'd given up so much of himself to make the Daleks.
Exactly,
Right,
and also,
that's what I thought too. Yeah.
but there are Big Finish stories set before he ended up in the wheelchair. And the same with...
My only problem with it is that it should have been like a Mark II travel machine, because I think it's too early for a Mark III travel machine.
I'll tell you what, when I end up in a wheelchair, which will happen, unfortunately.
Dad.
But when I do, I'm having it designed like Davros.
Well, you'd have to... So just to appease the Americans, you'll have to call yourself Davros, won't you? But anyway, where did we get up to? We were doing some stuff, weren't we? I've sent Mary because I found the feedback from the Miles's, and I think I remember there being a mention that he named the feedback incorrectly as the name of the Doctor and not the day of the Doctor, and that's why I couldn't find it. So I'm fairly sure this is the correct feedback. What I sent you, Mary.
Okay, and he says, the titles. They are the real titles. Very nice little Triumph motorcycle. Isn't that the Doctor's one that climbs up the Shard in London?
I think so.
Those Daleks are very fragile. All you have to do is throw a wall at them and they break. A sentient bomb, and it's a hot sentient bomb at that. She even admits it. The inhaler. That might be important at some point. That portal is a bit dangerous with all those low-flying Fez. Reverse the polarity again. The Doctor's doing that kissing thing again.
Oh, God.
Look, the round things. I love the round things. What are the round things? I have no idea. That's quite an entrance. That's quite an entrance. Throw a Dalek at everyone. Who would want to retire and be the curator of a museum? Isn't that the real Doctor as the curator? In quotes, who knows? Linda and Miles.
By the way, you know the theory that's the museum where that painting is, because of the roundels on the wall, that's actually the curator's TARDIS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd heard that as a theory.
Back to the live feed. Terry Miles says, resent feedback, sorry, so sorry. Now, he didn't need these resend it. I have the technology, Terry. Right, yes, we've got, so this is a bit where you can, hang on, where it is? Just potentially make yourself a cup of tea.
Well, good evening, 20 midway Sunday then. It's just gone 5:30 on Sunday night. I can fall in the bath of the sports pages. Well, the sports pages in the bath, maybe I didn't read them, so it's a bit difficult reading when it's wet.
Pardon?
And yesterday, after the men's fellowship breakfast, where we had a talk about the Korean Scout Jamboree, I did my inning and I watched The Day of the Doctor. And what a belting story it was. In fact, there were two storylines in there, because you have the invasion of Earth by the... and I've gone completely blank as the name of the monsters. Oh my God. I'm definitely having a senior moment. It'll come to me in a moment. And also you have the War Doctor destroying Gallifrey, ending the Time War, and how he did it or didn't do it, and with the moment and things like that. So, and actually, what was really good was about the way, of course, they fed into each other, because they ran along side by side. And I think that really did quite work well, because it meant your interest kept going through the whole story. It was an hour 20, probably the longest Doctor episodes probably since the TV movie. So from that point of view, it worked really well. I think the story of the invasion of Earth, very cleverly done with the monsters, and I still can't remember their name. Oh, for goodness sake.
The Zygons?
I really am struggling. Being hidden inside pictures and breaking out of the pictures in the Black Archive was very good, though never quite worked out why the Gallifrey Falls No More picture was in there. I know that came from Elizabeth. I didn't quite... I must have missed something there. No doubt Kirby's saying exactly what I should be doing. Exactly that, Kirby. I'll listen to that next week and you'll tell me. But I thought that was very clever. And with the going back in that, and then of course that linked across to the Doctor's sonic screwdrivers, where they had the calculation to get the door open, which was started by the War Doctor, continued by the 10th Doctor, and finished up by 11th Doctor. And of course it wasn't needed, because the door was actually not locked, and none of them actually thought to do that.
It would have been running in the 9th Doctor
moments in there. I mean, the bit with the moral dilemma of the War Doctor was amazing.
It's your title for Doctor Who episode, Moral Dilemma of the War Doctor.
He did it, the sake of sanity, but not in the name of the Doctor, as we found in the previous story. I think it was very, very well done. It shows someone who has to, commit genocide, but there's a greater good there, isn't there? I think you have to understand that. And yet at the end of it, he didn't do it. And of course, tragically, he will never remember that he didn't do it. And of course, his successors wouldn't remember that he didn't actually do it. Interesting point then. Do they actually remember regenerating? Given the fact this happened just before his regeneration.
They get a memory jumble, don't they?
is there, have they never thought, well, I can't remember regenerating. I wonder, how did he regenerate in the timeline where he did destroy Gallifrey? And therefore, that's the thing that presumably would be remembered, because that's what the Doctor remembered in the name of the Doctor. He said, you did not do it in the name of the Doctor. He remembered it happening, although it didn't happen. And does that mean the 11th Doctor remembers the fact that Gallifrey does exist?
Science fiction, fantasy TV
sets
show.
up a lot of potential contradictions, and I don't think they're all sorted out yet. I know some of them later are, because of course Gallifrey does come back. But no, I think that's what worked really, really well with this story. You had two of them going simultaneously, and I say they were linked together. And what's great about this being an anniversary story, you obviously had all the Doctors in it, literally all of the Doctors in there, and you had the lovely little hints of the past, with the 76 Totters Lane, the school with I. Chesterton and W. Coburn, things that wouldn't mean anything to a casual viewer, and therefore, they wouldn't take anything. But the fan would say, "Oh, that's a wonderful moment." The Doctor's Osgood scarf, and Osgood herself. I'm sure there was a character in Unit called Osgood. Again,
yes,
Kirby's probably saying, "No, you idiot, it's this." That's what Kirby's here for, I suppose, isn't he? And there were just little touches all the way through the story to make an anniversary story, but also to make it a story in its own right. It's far better than Silver Nemesis was. I think it did it much better than the two previous, the 3 and 5 Doctors. And that's why it works so well. I'm interested to see what happens next week when we sit down and watch the first special, the 60th anniversary.
Well, yeah.
But all in all, I thought this was a really good story, really entertaining. I think it really set up the Doctor well for his regeneration. I think, he knows it's going. And of course, what we're going to watch, are we going to watch it next week, or are we going to watch the 3 specials first? I don't know. But it gets everything set up, and there's a climax coming. There is something absolutely amazing going to be happening very soon. And from that point of view, until next time, I'll be seeing you.
Yes, the interesting part, thank you, Andy, of the Doctor knows he's going, is it's set up, if you think about it, set up, because 3 of the Doctors know they're going. Tennant's Doctor knows he's going. That's why he's there on his own with no companions. The Ward Doctor knows he's going because he regenerates during the episode, and the 11th Doctor knows he's going because he's heard that the 13 Doctors were in that little thing. So it's the end for all 3 of them, which I think is quite interesting in itself. Okay.
Yeah, but we still got to moan about the wigs at the end.
Yeah, I never even noticed that until.
Oh my God, they were terrible, weren't they?
Just said it.
Did I mention it?
Yes, you did. Yeah, but it was a moment where it's like, did they just get a load of
A
mannequins?
moment. You keep mentioning this moment. It's very appropriate, Debbie. Talking about the moment.
The moment. Oh.
And I just
Hello, 20 Megawatt Podcast. This is Ian Kirk.
Hello, Ian.
The Day of the Doctor by Stephen Moffat. Well, you've certainly come to the right place. David Tennant was back for the 50th anniversary, and he will soon be back for the 60th.
He's already.
He has just been on a special scene for the Children in Need telethon, with a Davros before he needed a wheelchair. Although some think he deserves the chair. I've lost count of how many times Billy Piper has returned. I suspect she might be back in 2024 with RTD's return. As she is the Bad Wolf, and that is the name of his studio, it might seem rude not to.
Indeed.
The Gallifreyans have paintings that are bigger on the inside, partly because the story was filmed in 3D. It was shown in a limited number of cinemas. The War Doctor was supposed to be an impossible choice, so it was always going to hurt. In the end, he faked genocide. Was he wearing the 9th Doctor's leather coat? Well, I suppose the 9th was wearing his. This has Billy Piper, Tom Baker, a royal wedding, Kate Stewart, Osgood, and even Peter Capaldi's eyebrows.
Yes.
A wonderful anniversary story.
Yes.
Bye for now.
Thank you.
Mary, were you
Mary, you were just
before?
about to say something.
I just want to say something that is probably going to be very unpopular.
Uh-oh.
But Ingrid Oliver, I do not like her. I do not like her being Osgood, Oswald, whatever. And it continues on into her big finish work, where I can never distinguish her voice from anybody else's. She's got such a plain sounding voice, and I don't think she acts very well. So to me, she kind of brings everything down whenever she's in a scene.
Fair
There,
enough.
I've said it.
I won't disagree
That's
with
fine.
that. He's okay. I don't mind that particular comment. Don't 100% agree with it. But before we move on to...
So,
What?
That's why we're here.
you know what would be a great rock band name?
Here we go.
Capaldi's Eyebrows.
Sorry?
Capaldi's
Eyebrows.
Okay, right then. Before we move on to the next segment of the show, I'm just going to check what's coming
Kirby
through on the
and the
live
Pedants.
feed. We've got stuff coming through on the live feed. Lily and
Really?
Robin. Sergeant Osgood was in the Damons.
There you go, yep.
Yes. So, the next section of the show, what we're going to do before we move on to...
She's me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Is... Oh, and there was something else, wasn't there? Oh, the news and stuff like that. The next segment of the show, well, because Kirby, you got very excited this afternoon, sent me a thing that we were mentioned in some
Yes.
post of being one of the top 20 Doctor Who podcasts. There's probably only...
Did you update the information there?
Considering...
Because it
No, because you can't. You can't access that particular thing and that update. I
Yes,
would have
you
done it
can.
if I could, but I couldn't. So, no, I haven't. But yes, you're right. It is nice to be in a list of so highly, especially when there's only 19 Doctor Who podcasts in existence at the moment. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Gosh, that is
Yeah, a lot
really
of those.
fallen
A
off.
lot of
The
those.
thing is,
don't
all we do
exist.
most of the time is tell Kirby to shut up.
No. It's there's hundreds of Doctor Who podcasts. So yes, it is quite nice to be mentioned in such a post. Yes, sorry, Kirby.
I believe that you create an account and then you can change
Right,
it. It
Kirby,
says
I
you can
haven't
change-
got time to do that. If you feel the need to do that, because I know you're sometimes a bit pedantic, feel free. Okay, but having said that, there has been a release of a top 10 Doctor Who stories, and I can now reveal it as follows. Yes, this is the Doctor Who magazine's top 10 list in full, with number 10 being Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead. And number 9, Remembrance of the Daleks. That's the Sylvester McCoy story, obviously. Number 8,
That
City
should have
of...
been higher.
Don't interrupt my top 10. Number 8, City of Death. Tom Baker, of course. Number 7, Human Nature, Family of Blood. David Tennant. Number 6, Blink. David Tennant. Number 5, Day of the Doctor. Matt Smith, stroke David Tennant, stroke John Hurt. Number 4, Caves of Androzani, Peter Davison. Number 3, Genesis of the Daleks, very topical at the moment with the little mini, Tom Baker. Number 2, World, Enough and Time, and the Doctor Falls, Peter Capaldi.
No.
Not sure about that one. But number 1, Heaven Sent, Peter Capaldi. It got slated. I love it. I've heard people slate that one, so I'm surprised it's so high up, but somebody likes it. That was quite good, wasn't it?
Why was that number 1?
Because it got voted number 1. So people that could be bothered to vote in
It's
voted that as
good,
number
I
1. I don't
agree.
think it's as
It's
bad
not
as you lot say it is. I quite enjoyed Heaven
Yeah, but
Sent.
number 1 out of every single
Yeah, I know.
episode of Doctor Who.
In Doctor Who magazine, so it has gravitas.
Sorry,
Okay.
City of Death.
City of Death is good, but it didn't have my favourite, of course, Pirate Planet. So, there you go. What can I say? Caves of Androzani's in there. It's got some good... Certainly every one of those stories has got...
My dad's favourite is
what I would
Blink.
say is quite good. And this is what I say, there's 3 Peter Capaldis in there. So it's not all bad from here to the end of the Capaldi era, which starts very soon here on the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast. Right then. There's a bit of an exclusive coming up, if I can find the appropriate...
You know, you can talk about the children in need stuff.
I'm
even
doing that
though
in a
I
minute,
didn't
Debbie.
watch
Stop
it.
rushing me. It's like having Kirby on the show. All right then. So, as I was saying, FantasyCon was very successful. Thanks partly to everybody that turned up and helped, especially you, Debbie and Tom. Anybody who actually came along as a volunteer and helped on the
you.
day.
It was a great time. I'm sorry I haven't spoken to you, and I'm still got
Oh,
the
go
t-shirt.
yes, please do so. I know you didn't move much and you missed out on Bob. I have your Bob picture here.
Thank you. I've got your t-shirts as well, but I have I came home and the next morning I woke
Look,
up
Debbie.
feeling like death.
Look, Debbie. Look. See, look.
Oh wow!
What do you mean? Oh wow! She signed that in the hotel.
I'm not watching the
She signed that picture. When I picked her up at the hotel the next day to take her back to the ferry, I said, "Can you sign this for Debbie?" She said, "Yes, of course."
Because when I finally got away and went round to see her, and she'd gone.
And on the other side is a picture of Michael Jaston, signed by Michael Jaston. So that's yours when you can when I see you, and I've got it, and you know what I mean. I was going to say something.
My people to talk to your people, lol.
Okay, so so you missed out on a few bits and bobs, didn't you? Because by the time you got out of your little prison, area where you were
the Doctor Who area,
Gabrielle
yes,
had gone. Yeah. I thought with having Tom there, that would enable you and Tom to sort of have a bit of a wonder from.
A little bit, but I was mainly corralling Isla and helping her. So if I did get away, it was to go and see something she wanted to show me.
She hugged someone, didn't she?
Sorry?
Isla. Somebody got a hug from Isla, which is...
Melina got a hug from Isla.
Well, that's understandable. She'd get a hug from anyone, that woman. Right, so, so thanks, everybody. So I hope you thought it was quite good, because there was quite a lot of people there that said it was quite good and didn't say anything
brilliant.
otherwise.
It was really good, but the only quibble we had was when we turned up, we didn't know where to go.
There's a map.
Yes, but when we turned up to help before everybody else turned up, it was like we ended up wandering into the leisure centre.
There was a TARDIS there as well, which is quite a good indicator as where the Doctor Who's home was going to be. Anyway, right, so FantasyCon news. Right, so obviously we're going to do it again next year, so it's going to be on the 19th of October at Medina Leisure Centre, and this is a clue as to somebody who's coming along.
Hi, this is Fraser Hines, and you're listening to the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Because it's not been announced yet. Because lucky enough, having the Howes there, whose best friend happens to be.
Hi, this is Fraser Hines, and you're listening to the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Managed to book him through them. So yes, that's an exclusive.
Oh, that's amazing.
Although I did tell Judith, and everybody's actually heard of this, especially Roy, got exceptionally excited at the prospect of.
Hi, this is Fraser Hines, and you're listening to the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Happening at the event next year.
Was supposed to be at Chicago TARDIS, but he had to cancel.
Are you trying to say he's going to cancel ours?
Am I saying what?
I just wonder if she's saying that he might cancel coming to.
No. He just cancelled Chicago TARDIS. I guess he had a conflict.
Maybe he had to do that thing. Has anybody seen any of those things on the iPlayer, the little sort of flashback things starring actors of old, including Wedding Pabry and Fraser Hines? Yes. You've seen them? I haven't seen the old episodes. I just watched the scenes, the new scenes. I haven't watched them all yet, to be fair. But it's really quite cool to see them all in there.
It's amazing. Yeah. I think the best word I came up with was it's charming.
It is charming, yes.
Yeah.
And,
I love those, and I've watched one of the full stories as well. So
there's a few other bits and bobs that we're trying to organise for next year as well, especially trying to bring people that are really, really good.
You gotta get back again. Speaking of bits and bobs, you get Bob again? Bob?
No, like I say, that's not the sort of thing. We don't, personally, I don't feel comfortable inviting the same people back. All right. 2 years running. I think we may bring the Howes back because they'll be travelling. They'll be bringing a certain person with them, so that kills 2 or 3 birds with one stone. But the Howes are sort of fall into the writers' departments as different from actors. So it's a different sort of shell of fish. Is that a word? No. Cash of fish? No. Shell of fish? Oh, whatever. Something of fish. Terry Miles says, that music was too loud. Could only just hear you. Listen to the podcast. I have a microphone here specially for it, where you will indeed be able to hear me.
I'll do better interviews next time.
This live feed is only a what they call it, an Easter eggery special thing I do just for the 5 people
avid
that are watching it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, listen to the show. Right. So, yes, that's great news, isn't it? And the next thing we're going to talk about very briefly is the... What?
Apollo, get off my computer. Thank you.
I thought there was something happening with NASA then for a minute. Yeah, so on Children Need on Friday night, they went back to the old days of Children Need's relationship with Doctor Who, where they actually did something really, really good. What they've done in the gap in between is just do little snippets of what's coming up. But this was a special episode put together for Children in Need, which bridges the gap. Which is we can see this is what always used to happen with RTD. That we get the behind the scenes stuff, which there is a behind the scenes section as well, which they showed on Children in Need later in the evening.
Yeah, that's where the controversy occurred.
I don't care. So yes. So, just to spoil anybody who's not seen it,
I'll
this is an
watch it
opportunity.
when I'm baking after this.
This is not. If you're watching the live feed, then you've got no chance. You'll have to just listen to what I'm saying. But if you listen to the podcast, you may want to skip forward a minute or two. And that is basically that there's a ship where Davros, who's walking around because he hasn't been blown to smithereens.
That's in the
Shut up! I'm going to say it's, if I say it's a ship, we're going to say it's a ship. He's got a little. They haven't quite decided on the name of this creature yet, and so.
What, that's evolved from the Carlins?
Yeah, so they come up with various anagrams that aren't Dalek, obviously, and Davros doesn't really like them.
And don't forget that the Dalek has like a special shooting weapon.
A high-tech grabber, which is really quite cool.
Debbie, Davros calls it a Mark III travel machine.
I don't care.
Cool.
But anyway, so Davros wanders off to another part of the wherever they are, base or whatnot, and the TARDIS smashes through into it and lands up. And of course, the 14th Doctor gets out, and he's obviously only just regenerated. He says that was how long was it ago that he was?
An hour ago.
Pardon?
He says an hour ago.
An hour ago. So this is his first thing he's done as the 14th Doctor. He's crashed into this Dalek ship, and then there's this comedy scene about every time he says, "Oh, it's a Dalek. Oh, that sounds good." So he writes it down and then he realises that, this is Genesis of the Dalek. Oh.
So he names the Dalek.
Yes. No, I haven't been here. Anyway, so he smashed this special high-tech hand off the Dalek and goes back into the TARDIS and gives the sucker, and Davros then comes back in after the Doctor disappears and says, actually, I quite like that. Yeah, so it's quite a charming little piece, and it's a proper little mini-pod rather than a little snippet of what's coming up, so I quite enjoyed that. And obviously, I think is it Julian, what's his name, who plays Davros, who actually plays Davros?
Yes, Julian Bleach plays Davros.
Yeah, I thought it was.
And also you can hear Nider's voice on the intercom.
Oh, good, yeah. But that was quite, I didn't hear that bit, but well done, Kirby, for spotting that. So that falls.
I didn't spot it. It was one of our listeners.
Cool. So that falls.
Kudos to the listener.
Yeah, that falls into the umbrella of Doctor Who news, which I'm just doing now.
Can I say something?
You don't normally bother asking.
It's very interesting. I was talking with Fred this morning, and I don't know how we got around to talking about that little short that I put together in January of 2018. Where it's on my YouTube channel. It's called Doctor Who Etheric Beam Locators, Genesis of the Daleks and Curse of Fatal Death. And in it, I show a little scene from Genesis of the Daleks where the fourth Doctor, has in his pocket something called an etheric beam locator. And then in Curse of Fatal Death, when the Master shows up with his Dalek bumps at the end, he calls them etheric beam locators. I had a comment put on my YouTube 4 years ago from someone named Paul Android, and he said, maybe when the Doctor introduced etheric beam locators to the Khalids, they were able to reverse engineer them and incorporate them into their Dalek casings. So not only did he avert their genesis in that story, but he also significantly advanced their technology. And I just commented this morning, 4 years after this comment, we find out in the Children in Need special just before the 60th that the Doctor also gave the Daleks their name and the plunger.
Right then, for the benefit of Terry Miles, who I must have upset by playing the music too loud, should we listen to the podcast though? This is a repeat of the top 10 without the background music, and I'll do it as quickly as I can. Number 10, Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead. Number 9, Remembrance of the Daleks. Number 8, City of Death. Number 7, Human Nature, Family of Blood. Number 6, Blink. Number 5, Day of the Doctor. Number 4, Caves of Androzani. Number 3, Genesis of the Daleks. Number 2, World, Enough and Time, Doctor Falls. And number 1, Heaven Sent. So there you go. I did that really quickly, didn't I?
The only ones on that list that I disagree with are World Enough and Time and Dr.
Well,
Falls.
there you go. You'll live with it, Kirby. All right then. So Doctor Who news. The classic Doctor Who is now streaming on Tubi. Viewers in the United States and Canada can, from today, which is the Thursday, the 16th of November,
nice.
stream over 600.
Now, it's been one thing though. It's been pulled off of the other places that we could watch it, but it does have an advantage. And Tubi allows you to pick the story, whereas when it used to be on Pluto TV, they were just throwing out a story and you just
have to watch what's on. Yeah,
but Tubi is on demand, so you can pick whatever.
Well, that's nice. Yeah,
you get ads obviously, whereas on BritBox you don't get ads.
Ads on YouTube though, don't you? Daleks in Colour First Look. The BBC has they cocked up the colour of Barbara's top, I believe it wasn't pink,
yes,
it was blue.
That's been pointed out.
Anyway, the BBC has released images from the colorised version of the second. Oh, that's on soon, isn't it? On BBC 4.
Yes, yep.
Must remember to record
anniversary.
that. To be screened on BBC 4 on 23rd of November 2023. So must record that, Debbie. If I don't, you're in trouble. Okay, just to let you know.
Well, I'll record it then.
I do not know if that's going to be available here with the Disney Plus thing, though. Somehow I doubt it.
It shouldn't be. It's a British programme. Let's stop it. Doctor Who press launch. The BBC has published images taken from the press launch of 3 upcoming specials starring David Tennant as the 14th Doctor. The launch took place at the refurbished Battersea Power Station. Cool. On the south bank of London's River Thames.
Really,
the former power station was left as a ruin in the 1964 story, Dalek Invasion of Earth.
Yes.
And I think it featured in Logopolis.
it was used to convert them all into Cybermen as well.
But in this time zone, it's been repurposed as an entertainment and housing centre for high-end apartments for sale. The screening,
and it's got this really Master, it's got this really cool attraction inside of it that Tim Drury.
I'm not playing it again, so I haven't got the window open. Tim Drury's Mansion. There you go.
A month or two ago, he visited. Inside one of those chimneys.
Oh yes, he shared some wonderful pictures, didn't he?
Yeah, they put a glass elevator.
So basically, follow Tim Drury on Facebook, and you get to see them.
Yeah. They put a glass elevator inside one of those chimneys that goes up and it pops out the top of the chimney and stays there for several minutes so you can look all around.
Oh, cool. That sounds good.
I hate to say this about Tim's video. His video goes sideways at one point.
Oh, dear Tim.
But
what, like the Great Glass Elevator does anyway?
Tim.
Yeah. Anyway, I went on YouTube VR with my Oculus and found someone else went up in that elevator, and I was able to see the whole experience in 360, which is really cool.
Oh, cool. Thank you very much. You might want to share that one on some platform.
You can actually watch the 360s on regular YouTube.
Okay. Are they not shareable on a platform?
Yes, they are shareable. You just have to use a mouse.
What?
You have to use a mouse to look around.
God's sake. Anyway, so the screening was attended by many cast and crew of the 3 specials made by Bad Wolf for the BBC and for Disney Plus. The event was attended by several stars from the classic series of Doctor Who, including Doctors 6 and 7, Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy. Carol Ann Ford, who played the Doctor's granddaughter Susan in the first series of Doctor Who, was there along with Wendy Padbury, Janet Fielding, Nicola Bryant and Sophie Aldred. The first of the 3 specials will be shown on BBC One on Saturday, the 25th of November, with the following 2 specials being seen over the following 2 weeks. Specials are...
I can't wait.
What?
Less than a
Can't
week.
wait, you said.
And I will be at Chicago TARDIS, where they're going to show it on Saturday.
How cool is that?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
With a bunch of people.
And then,
Oh,
so what dates?
You're lucky.
So what's dates that then, Mary? That you're going to be doing that on the day of the 25th?
Yeah, they're going to show it Saturday evening.
Well, that's quite
So
good then.
we can
So
all
by
watch
the time you get to the 26th, we'll be having to play this.
Be here on the 26th.
And
Yeah.
that's the question. Are we going to be talking about anything on the 26th?
If you go to a Doctor Who, yeah, we'll be talking about it, not doing a synopsis on it. We'll be talking
Well,
about
we
it.
are recording next week.
Oh, I don't know. Can't remember. Can I do that one in a minute? I'm just in the middle of doing the news. Yeah, so if you go to DoctorWhoNews.net, there's some cool press shots of various Doctor Who icons, including Nicola Bryant and Janet Fielding and Carol Ann Ford and who else we got here? Oh, Sophie Aldred. Yeah, so really quite nice pictures. BBC pictures. Right then. Next bit of news is Nicola Coughlan, the gorgeous Nicola Coughlan, from Derry Girls and Bridgerton, is joining Doctor Who. It says Bridgerton star Nicola Coughlan is set to trade the ballroom for the TARDIS as she joins the cast of Doctor Who. The Galway-born actress has made a huge impact in film and television, having starred in roles such as Claire Devlin in the award-winning drama comedy Derry Girls and Penelope Featherington in the Regency-era international sensation Bridgerton. So fab, she's gorgeous. And it talks about the Children Need Special and other bits and bobs like the Doctor Who themed edition of Bargain Hunt will be screened on the 60th anniversary of the series. The daytime antique show presented by Eric Knowles will be shown at 12:15 p.m. on the 23rd of November.
That's still going. I didn't know Bargain Hunt was still
going. It's a daytime show. Doctor Who magazine issue 597 available at who1.co.uk. Has the 14th Doctor and Donna on the cover, along with some strange big-eyed creature and that bloke from the Smurf film. Doctor Who, 60 Moments in Time. To mark the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, the makers of Doctor Who magazine are publishing 60 Moments in Time, a special publication marking the series' anniversary. Over the course of 60...
Tim share that he's got a copy of that.
Who has?
Today.
Who?
I think Tim shared on his page that Tim Drury's mentioned
that
he's got that already as well.
It'd be funny if they were talking about Tim Drury's mention. Say we talked about the music that accompanies Tim Drury's mention. It would be Tim Drury's mention, Tim Drury's mention, Tim Drury's mention, wouldn't it? That'd be a double on that one. Anyway, moving on. That got interrupted. Anyway, and then that goes back to the stuff I talked about last week, the Children of the Circus and stuff like that. So, quite a lot of Doctor Who news this week, and I'm presuming there'll be quite a lot.
Remember those weeks that there was nothing?
Yeah, it was a dry wasteland.
A dry wasteland.
Dry wasteland, yeah.
Dry wasteland. I suppose that is a saying, yes. In answer to your question about
arid wasteland, there you go.
Next week, Kirby, is the 26th of November, and I have not got anything in the diary other than nothing. So yes, if things go to plan, and don't like tempting fate, we are scheduled to record next week.
We'll be talking about Time of the Doctor and possibly the
Jesus Christ
new story.
Right, yeah.
I'm still all for reviewing the news stories when they come out.
Oh, tough. We haven't done it we haven't done it for the last two. We haven't done it for the last two Whittaker stories. So I'm sticking to what we're going to do is review the synopsis. Why?
This is the 60th anniversary.
Be quiet. We will do it. Stop it, but not like that. No, let me speak. Right. So we're going to do the Time of the Doctor in the normal format. So we're going to, brief. Remember, did you send Kirby the word brief? The meaning of. Right. And then we'll talk about, as in just have a chat about the 60th anniversary special, not in a synopsis scenario. We can say, oh, I like that bit, or I did like that bit, or I didn't like that bit. You can play the dead dare for Mary, who didn't like any of it. And if Mary liked any of it, we can go, hallelujah. We're just going to have a chat about it. We're not going to talk about how the story was, because most people who have, who'd be listening to it, who want to listen to it, would probably have already just seen it. So you don't necessarily have to synopsise a thing that's just been on. So the synopsis will come in the journey later on. We actually talk about the story, because by then people will have forgot it.
You can still wax lyrical about it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to have a chat about it.
the thing is that it is the first of the 60th anniversary specials,
yes.
And we did do the 50th anniversary special immediately after the 50th anniversary. And also, there was a reason that we stopped doing Whittaker ones. I mean, we were doing Whittakers for a while, but Flux was horrible.
What?
Yep. We stopped. We did all of them up until Revolution of the Daleks, and then we didn't do Flux or any of the ones after.
Listeners, he's actually talking about Flux, because
we did
with a
do
terrible
Power of the
attempt at doing a northern accent. Yes.
We did do Power of the Doctor.
I don't care. Mary, help!
We're not gonna just watch it and nip through it like we did, but we can talk about it as much as we like.
You described it perfectly yourself. You said wax lyrical. That's what we're going to do. No
Yeah,
stress, no pressure. No, well, it'll only be horrible when Mary's department. That's her.
We're not going to be limited to just, like a quick little comment. We can.
We'll have a chat about it. Let's see. We'll have a debate. We'll have a debate about it without talking about the synopsis. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
We're not going to try and watch it because Kirby will make the podcast go on for 4 hours.
Old, we're old.
How many times do you expect me to watch it by the
4
night that night?
4 times before.
Oh dear! Right, I'm now going to have to turn the telly on to remind myself of what I've watched this week, and there's been quite a lot of it. See, stuff that you won't be interested in. I nearly got cramped then.
I need to remember to write down
what you watch.
I only remember one thing.
Okay, so this is what I've been watching on telly. When did we last record? Was it last week? Hello, anybody there?
Yeah, what?
Did we do it last week? Was it the week before? The week before, wasn't it? I'll say the week before. So this is what I've been watching over the last couple of weeks, initially on Sky, because I've got to flip through the other bits. I'll talk about Paramount Plus, a little bit of Picard Series 3. I've sort of stopped again. I will go back to it. Survivor, which is a cracking show. It's only on the weekends on BBC One. Mars Singer, I haven't watched that yet. That's a Christmas special. Strictly Come Dancing, of course. Children need fast forwarding to watch the Doctor Who stuff. Although there are some other bits and bobs that are quite charming on it as well. I haven't watched that yet. Big Brother, which is now finished. Tipping Point, always watch Tipping Point. I record it and watch it at my leisure. There's a new series of Discovering Film on, which do you get Sky Arts over in the United States there?
No, we do not.
Well,
no.
You say you were watching Portrait Artist of the Year, weren't you?
Yeah,
Mary?
but that's because they've sold some of the episode or some of the seasons of it to Prime Video.
Well, if they sell the series Discovering Film, keep a look out for it because there's 16 series of it, and series 16 started with Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, and I haven't watched the Jamie Foxx one yet, but it's basically about film stars, and it's a little. Talks about their career in film and acting and whatnot, and it's really one of my favourite shows on telly. So in the UK, you can see that on Sky Arts. What else? Oh yeah, there was a brilliant series on BBC Two about William Shakespeare.
Stop this.
What?
I accidentally started up Netflix and it was playing something. Sorry.
You didn't have to tell me that, did you? Anyway,
didn't you hear it?
No. Yeah. So BBC Two, there's a docudrama series about William Shakespeare's life. Absolutely brilliantly done. Married at First Sight UK came to an end. Just about to start watching Married at First Sight New Zealand. Real Man Hunter has started on Sky Mix. What else we got on this? The Inside M&S, which is a company I work for. There's a documentary series about the Inside M&S. A little bit of Graham Norton's show. Beatles Night on BBC Two a few weeks ago. Managed to catch up with that. And Fleetwood Mac Night, which was a week before that. And that essentially covers all the stuff on bog standard telly. On Netflix, I watched the Beckham documentary series, which was fab. Deb tried to watch the Stallone one, which was apparently not so good. I think it's called Sly. I haven't tried because Deb said it was rubbish, and she's quite a good judge on whether a docu-series is good or not. I've left that one on the back burner for a bit. And the Robbie Williams series, documentary series, absolutely brilliant again. So I know I've missed something, but I have actually watched quite a lot of stuff over the last couple of weeks because I haven't had to arrange any conventions or anything. So I've had a bit of time, and I've actually managed to get through all my wedding work to a certain degree as well. So it's been nice to be able to watch some telly, although we've got cinema tickets, which haven't been in cinema for months. We're paying for Cineworld tickets for that. But we do intend to go back to the cinema. Oh, I don't know what to say. I watched the Barbie film. Oh, that was ages ago, wasn't it? Debbie, what have you been watching? You've been watching bits and bobs. You've been
I've been
ill bill.
Poorly, so yeah, I've been actually mainly listening to podcasts. Basically, I'm really into Uncanny, which is a podcast I've listened to for a while about people's real life ghost stories and your Team Skeptic or Team Believer. And they came, and just before Halloween, there were 3 episodes on BBC. The BBC did them for Halloween, and they were beautifully done. And I've got the book as well, and it's just become quite an obsession. I have my own stories, and I've been reminiscing with my sisters about things that happened when we were kids, and it's got us talking again because we haven't read for a while. So now we're talking, so that was good. And Scarred for Life, Tim Drury mentioned.
Tim Drury's mentioned.
He was talking about it on his page the other day, and I was like, yeah, I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but I went back and revisited it. And it's all about, basically you have 3 star every week, and this latest one is the guy who plays Garth Marenghi, who is my absolute hero. I love him. And you have to have 3 scars that were from your childhood that scarred you for life, and got me thinking what mine would be, and I think I'd make a whole series of things. And his main things were the public safety information film videos we had on TV when it was the Second Cold War, and obviously I grew up in the middle of that, not knowing if we were going to hear an air raid siren or not and things like that. And I thought it was quite poignant as well because it did bring back a lot of memories of being small. Netflix has definitely been my saviour. I've been watching the How to Be series on Netflix, narrated by Peter Dinklage, obviously who played Tyrion in Game of Thrones. And the latest one is How to Be a Mob Boss, and it's like 6 episodes about a certain mob boss and the playbook and how you should do it right and how they did it wrong and things like that. They also do it with how to be a cult leader and how to be like Saddam Hussein, things like that. And that they're really good. They're really factual and really good to listen to. And done the Harry Potter films again.
Deb's been watching over and over again.
Tom and I did the 2 Towers Extended over the last 2 nights, which was fantastic. Just sat there with a glass of wine and watching them in front of the fire has been brilliant. And last but not least, because I've watched loads of stuff really, History's Biggest Fibs with Lucy Worsley on iPlayer is just fantastic.
Oh, I might have to watch that one. I like her. Thank you, Debbie. Kirby, what have you been watching then?
The only thing I can remember is continuing with Ahsoka, with watching that on Friday.
Oh, that was brilliant. I loved Ahsoka.
Yeah, watching it with the Geek Daughter on Friday nights. We had trouble meeting up, so we could only watch 2 episodes, so we have 2 left that we'll finish up this coming Friday.
Is that like you say your Geek Daughter, of which of course you have said over many years, the Geek Daughter thing? Is that like her Time Lord name? It's like because you have the Doctor.
Well, I've always
master,
referred to her as that because she's the geek of the 3. She's the geekiest.
Well, Isabella's my geekiest daughter, but I don't think I'd actually call her the Geek Daughter, even though she is. To be fair, we didn't hear that, did she? That's very thin. That was a lot.
So that's the only thing I can remember. I've just been checking to see what I was checking on Netflix to see was Dairy Girls is available there, so I will probably start watching the.
I've never seen her, but I just think that the actress who I referred to
sounds interesting.
So beautiful. She's so beautiful. And I love her accent.
I just put Tubi on my phone and checked out to see what sorts of things are there. Looks like everything is there that should be.
Do you have to pay a subscription for that, Kirby?
No.
Oh, cool.
No. These are going to have commercials, but they have got things like Power of the Daleks, the animated one, which is good.
Good.
So I'm looking forward to, even though I have BritBox, I'm going to look at some of these things.
Right, I was thinking of because we haven't got Ben to create random theme tunes and stuff at the moment. I might have to start negotiating his return because we're still not getting anything from Alan T. Butcher. So I feel that maybe I'm missing Ben's. So I'll say it politely. Silliness. Right then. So
I thought Ben just wasn't available. Because
if you asked him nicely
enough,
enough,
on Facebook doing a lot of political events, so he just might be a busy guy.
Yeah, I told you a few weeks ago that he contacted me and said he was going to try, but he's just busy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he's thinking. At least he didn't say no, did he? I mean, yeah. I'm
wow!
To get
Even the
symptoms.
animated Faceless ones is available on Tubi.
Splendid. Thank you for that, Kirby. I haven't seen that one, by the way. Okay, so I'm going to. This is the theme tune I'm going to temporarily do for Mary this week.
Wow, my own musical.
Nice.
Oh, I like that.
Especially since it's called Oh Well. Carry on.
Well, on TV, as always, I'm watching basketball, and I've been following the Great British Bake Off.
Me too. I forgot to mention that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think Debbie watches that one too.
So do I.
Yeah, and still following along on Portrait Artist of the Year, and I'm on season 4.
Wow.
And what I noticed is that Prime Video only has up to season 7. So unless things change, I'm never going to get up to the current ones that you're watching.
That's a shame.
And they also have Landscape Artist of the Year. So when I run out of Portrait Artists, I'll probably turn and start watching those because I like those. Mostly I've been reading books. The one I'm kind of deeply into right now is the biography of John Adams, really thick. If a book is like 3 or more inches thick, I'm on it. I like to read those kind of books. And I love reading what people wrote at the time they experienced things. You Brits probably don't know, John Adams, I believe, was our second president. And he was one of the prime movers and shakers to write the Declaration of Independence and the new Constitution. And he was one of the founding fathers that got our country going. So it's just really fascinating because he wrote about everything. So you get a good feel for like what the country was like, what the people were like at that time, where everything was happening, and even the description of the other people that have become famous to Americans because they're our founding fathers. Some of his descriptions of them are just really fun to read. So I'm really getting immersed in that, or have been actually. In terms of Big Finish, I'm right now involved in this series called Once and Future. It's a whole series of stories involving all the classic and some of the new doctors. And this is their 60th anniversary, big thing. And the stories have been really uneven. Some have been really nice and fun, and some have been like totally confusing, and I have no clue what's going on. So I'm down to the last one that has been released, which is called The Union. And then apparently they're going to do another one, but it's going to be like a year from now. So I don't know what that's all about. And there is some kerfuffle going on in the Big Finish world because I think next year their contract to renew all the stuff that the BBC has been allowing them to do is supposed to change. Now, and the anticipation is that because the BBC is now involved in this whole new, revival of Doctor Who with Russell T. Davies, that many of the things that they've been allowed to do they may find more restricted because Russell T. Davies seems to be wanting to claim rights to things that, like the classic Doctor things. But there may be more involvement in the new one with the 8th Doctor and his companions, because Disney Plus is involved. All the other, I guess, copyrights and all that are going to kind of fall to this wayside, because Disney is such a powerhouse that they can, buy into any deal and do anything. So we don't know what's going to happen Big Finish wise, what the new restrictions or new permissions are going to be. But I hope things don't change too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, was that it?
But since I'm going to be at Chicago TARDIS, and the head of all of Big Finish is going to be there, I imagine he's going to get grilled as to what he anticipates is going to happen. So hopefully, for those who listen to Big Finish, I hope I have some news when I get back.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested. Since I just got that humble bundle with a bunch of Big Finish in it.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of Big Finish lately.
Cool.
Good. Yeah, the funny thing is, for me, because the TV series has become such a disappointment, the Big Finish has become, for me, the primary Doctor Who source.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just so unfamiliar with it. I have trouble counting it as canon. But we'll see.
Oh, but so much of it has become canon.
Yeah, I know.
You have to count it. You have to.
I'm aware, but I love the fact I've now seen all of Doctor Who in some way or another. So maybe I need to listen to all Doctor Who some way or another.
Yeah, well, you already possess the first, almost 100 or more of their early releases. So if you really want to set a project for yourself, you should start from the beginning. Because
I have to find those. I don't know. That was over 10 years ago.
Yeah. But
no, I think Big Finish, as you say, is a saving grace at the moment.
Really,
yes. Also saving grace. I just think it's another avenue for storytelling, isn't it? And
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And also, it's great to give the classic actors opportunities to still be playing the Doctor in fantastic writing and
companions and new companions new avenues are opening on. Yeah.
And of course, having watched
them, have some of the new Doctors recording, but some actors who are brilliant at redoing, the classic Doctor voices. So we can still hear third, second, first Doctor stories, because we've got those amazing actors doing their voices.
Well, I'd say you're talking about canon in regards to Big Finish. Of course, the episode we discussed, the mini-pod we discussed with Paul McGann in it, where all his companions were mentioned in that, which canonised them.
Yes, it did.
So
yes.
Just one little line that makes makes it relevant, makes a Big Finish canon relevant and canon. So it's cool.
Yeah. So Big Finish fans are hoping that if Russell T Davies, really takes it on board, maybe there will be a spin-off series with the Eighth Doctor on TV.
I think there's going to be all sorts of stuff coming up, because obviously having a little mini-pod, having the behind-the-scenes stuff back, there's a real buzz around Doctor Who at the moment.
Really?
Okay, right then. So,
Master.
Yes.
I've been scrolling through what's available on Tubi, and it's interesting because there are things that I knew had come out that have been animated that I have not seen. I have seen Faceless Ones, but they have Abominable Snowman, which I have not seen the animated version. So they've got Galaxy 4, they've got Evil of the Daleks. None of those are ones that I have, but I went back to the very beginning, and Tubi is also missing Unearthly Child.
Well, there you go. That'll all be rectified at some point. Apparently, there's been a missing story, which
that guy is an idiot.
Shush.
Well, and then the latest stories about all those supposedly missing episodes that people are holding on to. Yeah,
they won't bring back because of the BBC's sort of strictness about people having recorded stuff by audio on their tellies. I used to do that with Star Trek back in 1970s.
Star Trek.
Yeah. But only because my cousin up north
used to do it with this thing called Doctor Who.
Yeah. Well, I definitely used to do it. I used to love some theme tunes, like the theme tune to Mind Your Language. Absolutely love that tune. So I used to record it on my.
Isn't somebody
audio.
putting out all the what is it, the audio versions of those unpublished stories?
Potentially, yeah. But they're already out. I think
they're
already out on some BBC. Audible, I think, has got a lot of the audio versions of those missing stories anyway. And then they came out as part of those, the thing that we watched them, didn't we? We watched those reconstructions, which are basically audios with pictures on. So yeah, all those audios
I'm
exist.
excited to see some of these same stories that we watched the telesnaps with this way.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, right.
There was something that. Oh no, it's gone from the tip of my brain.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, your brain has a tip?
There was something I was starting to remember, and now I forgot. Darn it.
Dear, well, what were we talking about?
I
need a wee. But what were we talking about before we went on to that? I was about to try and end the show.
We were talking about Big Finish.
Big Finish, and I was that's right, with Big Finish. And I was just saying about an extra avenue for Doctor Who storytelling. Is that a help for you there, Kirby? And I'm trying to remember what you're going to say. Oh dear.
No.
All right, that's fine. Next week it's the Time of the Doctor. I think that one's called.
Time of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Mary, will you be able to join us, or will you still be TARDISing?
No, I'll be at Chicago TARDIS. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, have fun.
She will have fun.
Yeah, I mean, it runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday until 6:00 in the evening. So.
Who are you hobnobbing with?
Yeah.
Mary.
What?
Who are you hobnobbing
with?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Caroline Ford is the one I'm most excited about meeting.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've never met her before. And there'll be 3 doctors, McCoy and Davison and who's the 3rd doctor? Baker. Yeah, they're going to be
3.
Yeah. Well, we'll say try and cheer Peter Davison up, because he wasn't very happy when I met him last. Maybe just because it was me, I don't know. Anyway, right, so next week, like I said, it's we're going to be talking, hobnobbing and chatting about that brand new 60th anniversary special Doctor Who story, which Kirby knows the title of, and I forgot. No, he doesn't. Okay, well, we're going to talk about that. and of course, a Time of the Doctor.
Wait,
so
it's on the calendar. Hang on.
There's a certain degree of symmetry about that, isn't it? We're going to end the Blacksmith era. And sort of begin the very short 14th Doctor era.
The Star Beast.
That's
Star
it.
Beast.
Yeah. So it's quite a lot to do next week. And so until then, thank you for listening, watching, taking part in the show. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Fancy Pants.
Bye.
Scarecrow.
The 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast is an APV Services production, sponsored by whowon.co.uk and lavazi.co.uk. We are proud members of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance. Doctor Who is a trademark of the BBC. No copyright infringement intended. The music on this podcast is covered by limited online music license from PRS for Music.